Hello, and welcome to a very special SHRM19 edition of the HR Social Hour. I'm your host, Wendy, and excited to introduce you to one of the fabulous speakers that you will get to listen to if you are at SHRM in Las Vegas this year. So excited to welcome Renee Smith. She is a renowned self-esteem and branding expert, life and business coach, and resource to the media. She has worked with over 100 clients in 9 different industries and is sought after for her ability to shatter old beliefs and mental constructs, closing the gaps in the minds of audiences regarding how they see themselves, their careers, and their abilities to achieve success. With more than 20 years of experience in communications, she has served as a television talk show host, producer and spokesperson, director of public relations at an academic institution, a corporate marketing representative, and a manager. Her insights have been featured in Entrepreneur, Shape, Women's World, Marketing Daily, WorkWise, and other magazines, and she has made countless radio and television appearances. Renee is the author of 4 popular books: There Is More Inside, The Bridge to Your Brand, Likeability, Marketability, Credibility, and Our Heart's Wonder, Prayers to Heal Your Heart and Calm Your Soul, and 5 Steps to Assertiveness, How to Communicate with Confidence and Get What You Want. She's also the co-author of Self-Esteem for Dummies, which was written with the world's best-selling reference brand series for dummies. Renee, welcome so much. So excited to chat with you. So tell us a little bit about your career journey and what led you to create your brand of speaker, coach, and author.
Sure. Good to be here with you, Wendy. So I started out in corporate America as a marketing representative, and I did that for about a year. And to be honest, I hated it. Not that I didn't like corporate America, I just didn't like what I was doing. Right? I was in sales, and I didn't like what I was doing at the time. But I also had, probably like many of your listeners or viewers, I had a dream that I had held on to for years, and I decided to pursue it, which was modeling. And so I went into the entertainment business and was in the entertainment business for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And I worked with some of the biggest names in the business, like Iman and Susan Lucci and Victoria Principal. And some people may not know those names because right? But they were nationally known, and Iman internationally, certainly. So did that for a while, and then became a television talk show host for Paramount, and also their spokesperson. And from there, I launched my own business, which was a failure. And I had many, many lessons as a result of that. So it was a great journey for me, even though I didn't feel like it at the time. And probably a lot of people can relate to that, right? Even in your careers, in terms of, having those moments where you feel like there's a hiccup and you don't know if it's just going to just come all the way through. But you make it over.
Yeah.
And then I was actually picked up. Somebody had called to me and asked me if I would be willing to be a recruiter at a university. And I accepted the position. It was good timing for me because my business really wasn't launching the way that I needed it to. And within, I would say, 90 days of being on the job, I realized I had undersold myself. And I was in a place where very grateful for the opportunity to be a recruiter, but certainly my background was really could serve the university much better. So I kind of stepped back a little bit and said, okay, what do I want to do with this? And I actually made some very pivotal decisions in terms of pivotal and strategic decisions on how I was going to present myself to executive leadership so that I could use my intellectual property and my skills for the university. And so I kind of saw some gaps, and I said, where would I best fit? So I went to the president's office and talked to the executive assistant to the president. He said, wow, I think I was thinking about creating a development center for the university, for the employees, so that they could come and basically what I'm doing now, right?
Right.
Back then. And he said, sounds like a great idea. But before I could get the proposal done, the director of public relations resigned. So they said, well, we'd really like to move you here. And I position. I became the director of public relations. And so that gave me the opportunity to work in the cabinet of the president and the realm of presence. And I was like in my 30s, having the opportunity to build the image, protect the brand, but also make have impact on some very critical decisions that happened at the university and its direction. And then after that was over, and there's a story behind that, we may get into that. There's always a story.
Yay, there's always. That's great.
Left there, and then I was thinking about starting my business, but I was like, yeah, I kind of need to build up my funds. So I became a manager at a retail store and stayed there maybe about 8 months and just couldn't stay there much longer. And I launched my business, and I've been doing this since 2005, and now it's 2019. So what, 13, 14 years? Yeah. And it took me about 3 months to get that big contract, working 6 months with the organization, made phenomenal, got phenomenal results. And after that, the buzz was there. And
awesome.
Fortunately, have been able to work with the organizations that you've talked about and hired to write books to share my expertise. And it's been a fabulous journey. And I think the best is yet to come.
That's awesome. How fun. I love hearing people's stories and how you get there, because, you were talking about, it failed, your first business failed, and you can't see it when you're there, but being able to look back and see the whole gamut of how you got to where you are is just, I love those stories. I just do. It's
I have many stories, not just especially as it relates to the workplace, which is why I do the work I do. Mm-hmm. I had talked about the business failing, but in terms of the work, I got fired from my job. At the time, I was being bullied on my job, and it was really a very tough space because I was very well liked by senior leadership, and a lot of people. It's kind of funny because sometimes we find ourselves sandwiched between senior leadership and our supervisor, right? And we don't want to do, and they don't like us because they like us, and there's what's going on there. But interesting enough, I did make it through it, and decided that I was going to do the work I'm doing now. And I knew that the workplace needed to change. I knew that leadership had to understand the impact that they had on their employees. Employees need to understand the impact that they had on leadership. And if I could get a conversation between the two, and for employees to see their value and for leadership to see theirs, I knew that I could help change the workplace. And voila, I'm doing the work. But also, I will tell you something that's interesting about the journey. 11 years later, after I had gotten fired, my supervisor sent me a written apology. Yeah. So for anybody who's being bullied, there is
there's hope. There's hope.
Absolutely hope. There's absolutely hope. People have challenges, and sometimes, it's why we do what we do, why SHRM does what it does, and I do what I do, and all the other speakers out there who are out there doing this great work. We do it because we want to see change, and we believe that America, workplace can change and be productive and be a place, and we can build cultures that work. And so that's an example that I didn't see it, but certainly there was an acknowledgement that I wasn't in a good place at that time, and I projected that onto you.
There's a lot of truth in that, and being able to look at where you are and what you're doing, and seeing beyond those trouble areas, seeing beyond the bullying, and trying to figure out how can we make this a better place, because there's so much of that in the culture, and we've been asked for so long to just look the other way, and it's nice to see people standing up and saying, no, we're not going to look the other way anymore. And so I like that there are people out there like you who can encourage people and help us get to that better place, help us fix work. I think that's phenomenal. So Yay. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, absolutely. It's a pleasure to do it. Thank you for acknowledging.
So you are speaking on Monday at 1:30. So that's Monday, June 24th. So right after lunch when everyone's tired and groggy. But your session is on personal brand, defining and communicating your personal brand to increase your visibility, credibility, and career opportunities, which is fantastic. So tell us a little bit about why you feel it's important for everyone to focus on their brand.
Oh, wow. Because it's going to make the difference between you being acknowledged, respected, and valued for who you are and the value that you bring, and you being overlooked. And I have reason to believe that most people want to, one, live their authentic life, but also they want to be respected and appreciated. And one thing about branding, I often get, as you know, I've coached hundreds of people, hundreds. And whether they're senior leadership or they're close to, the entry level, I don't know if they're clear on what branding is, because I had a senior leader who's been in the healthcare industry for over 30 years who reached out to me and said, hey, I want to do what you do. And I said, okay. And I said, well, let's talk about personal branding. She says, well, stop right there. Stop right there. I don't want it to be about me. And I said, good, because it isn't about you. It's really about your audience, what they want, what they need, and how you show up to serve them, and the value you can bring to their lives. And so when people understand or get into a place of purpose and knowing what they have in their capacity to really step up and into a higher level of, whether it's leadership, a higher level of understanding of yourself, step into a place of really understanding. I was talking to someone recently who is applying for another job, and she was sharing with me kind of her resume, and we were going through some things. And I said, do you realize that you're a phenomenal listener? And she said, I am. I said, yeah. I said, do you realize how powerful of a skill that is? Who listens? Who even wants to listen, right? So when we think in terms of personal branding, it's about every person's individual journey of understanding the value that they bring. And most often people haven't done that work. They haven't done the assessment. They've built, they have skills, they have experiences, they have expertise, and they don't even realize that they're not utilizing it in the workplace because it's not in alignment with the needs of the organization. So why is it important? Because it's going to distinguish you. It's going to help you to elevate your career. And I don't know who doesn't like or want to be more influential. If you want a little more influence, want some visibility, if you want to feel like your life is on purpose, wake up every day. If you want to understand how your skills fit within an organization, why you're there, and the value that you bring, that's why you want to be at the workshop. That's why you need a person. That's why you need a personal brand, but that's why you need to be at the workshop.
I love it. So let's shift that focus a little bit, because one of the things that SHRM helps us do is convince our boss that we need to be there. We need to go to SHRM. We need to go to the national conference. So why does my boss want me to sit in on your session?
Oh, why wouldn't your boss want you to be in touch with your skills? Because if you're not in touch with them, then you don't use them. Why would your boss not want you to understand your own value in terms of what you bring to the organization that can help advance the organization? Why wouldn't your boss want you to know who you are from within, and how you can make better decisions strategically, but also socially, in order to improve the culture of the organization? Do you want me to continue?
It's all those things, though, that you don't think about. you know, when you're sitting in your little cubicle and you got your head down and you get your work done, and you say, well, why would I need to know this? And it's so true. Why wouldn't you want to know this? Why wouldn't you want to share this with your boss and your boss's boss and your boss's boss's boss, and or however many layers in the organization where you work, to be able to share that information, because it just makes you a better employee for them.
It makes you a better employee. And in addition to that, you know, one of the reasons why, or their research is saying, one of the reasons why people are leaving the workplace and they're looking for places that actually focus on development, right? But they're not necessarily looking for development in terms of, okay, this is only going to benefit the company. And so they go there and they are, when I say it's all sold to benefit the company. Personal branding is sold to benefit the individual, but it benefits the company, right?
I love it. Yeah.
I'm learning about myself. I'm becoming into a higher level of awareness and self-actualization, which can only make me a better person. So by me becoming a better person, I become a better employee, right?
Yeah.
But if I go and I learn a new strategy about sales, then when I get there, I'm already frustrated because I should be working, right? Because
yep.
You're upset with me because I'm not making more, I'm not meeting quota. So I really don't want to be there. You're telling me something I already know. And so I'm going to maintain it for the next 7 days, but I'll never use that tool, right? Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't matter to me. It's not important to me. I'm frustrated because I'm annoyed and I have anxiety from within myself because I don't know how to communicate in such a way to influence you to buy from me. So the issue isn't another strategy. The issue is how I show up and how I engage and connect with you. And when I connect with myself, I can better connect with you.
Oh, that's so nice. So what are the top 2 things you hope attendees take away from your session?
Wow. Okay. So I always set the intention, number one, that they get what they are arriving, why they are enrolling in the workshop, right? Mm-hmm. So the first thing is I want them to get what they want to get, because that's critically important, that they walk out of there with what they wanted to get. Otherwise, I haven't met my target. Now, the expectation has been set because they read a description. And from that description, they said, I want to enroll in this workshop. So they're saying, I want to know how to communicate in such a way to get people to take notice of me. So one, I want them to get that. I want them to get the strategy on how to increase their visibility. But most important, I want them to get is that you're going to get these strategies for yourself, but how critically important it is and how you implement them. Right? So you have this new tool that's going to elevate your awareness on how you can strategically develop alliances and partnerships within the organization. You're going to get some strategic information on how you can, expand your brand so that you can brand yourself as an expert. However, I want them to walk away with the reason why I'm doing this is not so that I can get more visibility, but I'm doing this so that I can help more people. And as a result of helping more people, I get all the perks, right? So it's like the job. It's like, okay, I want to get to the C-suite. Either you want to get there because I want to make a better impact on my employees. I want to be in a position that I'm able to help them develop. I want to be a part of that decision-making team that decides exactly how the employees are developed so that I can ensure that that our retention numbers go up. That's why I want to be there, because I believe that XYZ company is a great company to work for. I think we have fabulous employees and I want to stop the bleeding, right? You have that person. And then you have the person, I want to get there because I want to be among the players. I want to be able to influence the people. I want to be able to have some power, right? I want to be able to say what I want, when I want, and do what I want. No, that's not personal branding, right? You develop a brand, right? You develop a brand because a brand can be good or bad, right? Or,
right.
like that judgment that I just put out there, but for lack of better, we have the language we have, right?
Right.
So good or bad, but what I'm looking for is to build and create awarenesses and shifts in people that they walk away feeling empowered and inspired to go back to their workplace and add real value to the employees, the leadership, the organization as a whole, by really understanding where it's going and how they can help the organization get there.
All right. Well, one of the other things that we do on our podcast is try to help people make connections, do some networking, and try to make that a little bit easier. So we have what we call our half-hour question connection, where everyone gets the same questions. And so I've put together some special SHRM19 questions just for these conversations that I'm having. So, Renee, the first question: what conference event, other than your session, of course, are you looking forward to most?
Well, first of all, I'm looking forward to the whole event. So I think if I think about the largest conference I have spoken at, there were 10,000 people. So when you think in terms of having the privilege to be among 20,000 people, 20,000 plus people, and you think about the energy, the intellectual property that's walking around, and people, just to be able to be in that space and be present to what's happening, the buzz, right? Mm-hmm. That is such a profound opportunity. So I want to start with that. And, I'll set this up as a story. So I guess it's been about 2 years ago or so, I have a friend named Dr. Harry Williams. And at the time, might be longer than that now, because he's no longer there. But at the time, Dr. Harry Williams was the president of Delaware State University. And he shared with me, he says, "Oh, you've got to meet this Johnny Taylor. You've got to meet Johnny Taylor. And I'm thinking, okay, who is this person, right?
Calm down.
So I continue, right. So I continued about my way, and eventually Harry ended up in the DC area, and I ended up in the DC area. So we met, and he goes, "Oh, you have to meet Johnny Taylor," right? So is this the funniest story? So I came home and I Googled Johnny Taylor, mm-hmm. and the speech came up from last year's SHRM conference. Yep. I was blown away. And I said to my husband, "I got to meet Johnny Taylor." I just thought, wow. I mean, he is a phenomenal speaker. And so that is my intro in terms of into SHRM. And mm-hmm. I said, I've met him since in passing while I was at SHRM, but I'm looking forward to what he's going to say in terms of almost the state of the workplace, mm-hmm. where we are, what is going to be the challenge for 2019 into 2020, and what is he going to charge us with? So that's exciting to me. I'm looking forward. I haven't read, because I'll be honest, I've been focused on some business stuff.
Sure.
I don't know all that's going to be there. Certainly, Brene Brown. I've heard her speak before. She's absolutely phenomenal. So I'm looking, Lana Ritchie. So there's some phenomenal people, but I think at the end of the day, for me, and knowing the work I do, I'm just looking forward to being among the people, hearing what their concerns are, hearing more about the workplace, mm-hmm. and what can Renee do to support today's workplace? Because, we have research and then we have reality. Right? Yeah. They're in the trenches and they're doing the work, and their message may be totally different than what the research is saying. So yeah. What is it that they're saying, and how can we support them?
Awesome. So other than your books, what are you reading right now?
So right now, I don't have time to do a lot of reading because
sure.
Yeah,
you're busy.
Yeah. Doing a lot of, still and on top of that, coaching and new clients and all that. So, but I love listening to books. And so the book that I'm listening to now, and it's called The Path Made Clear, and it's by Oprah. And the way that it's set up, Wendy, is that, you know, Oprah gives an intro. Typically, it's somehow connected to her life experience. And then she has all these different speakers that give their perspective on the issue. So it's almost like Wendy can be a personal branding expert, right? Mm-hmm. And you can present it from your angle and reach half of the room. And I present it from mine and I'll reach the other half. So it's really a neat way of bringing all these voices together, and whichever one speaks to you, because she wants to make sure somebody speaks to you. Yeah. Whatever one speaks to you, it touches you and it moves you and prompts you to another level. So I'm really enjoying that right now, and I'll see what I download next. I don't know what that's going to be.
How about the best movie you've seen in the last year?
I'm going to say that Cree 2. Oh, you were surprised. Why?
A little surprised. I honestly, I have to say, I kind of forgot there was a sequel.
Oh, really?
I did.
Really? Well, it's funny because, of course, okay, so my mind, as my husband tells me often, never shuts down. I'm always in the mode of self-development and what it means and growth, etc. Because it's what I do. It's what I love doing, right? So anything that I'm proposing to somebody else, I've already tested it. Right? Sure. Right? So I just, you know, but what I liked about that movie is it really is about this guy, the son, finding his own voice, his brand. Who is he going to be? Now, the whole time he was out trying to prove himself. Mm-hmm. And so every decision he made, attempting to prove himself, would only push him back. And the moment that he released everyone else's expectation of him and he let go of trying to be his dad or trying to fight for his dad and fight for himself because it was his journey, all things fell into place. So that's right up my alley in terms of what I share in terms of having your own brand and having your own voice. And there's a scene in there in the movie that's really great because he is, at one point, he's running behind the car. So there's a car and he's running behind the car. Mm-hmm. And then as he gains strength, clarity, and purpose, he's running in front of the car. Oh. And it's so symbolic of how we as people really grow and develop. You know, we're running behind the car, trying to chase the car down, trying to chase the promotion down, trying to chase whatever it is that you're running after. And the moment you come into your own of who you're going to be, your voice, and you come into that recognition, now you're in front of the car because this decisions you make put you there, right? Because your decisions are either have you behind the car or in front of the car. You have to figure out where you are so you can make a switch. So that's why I love that movie. And it has many beautiful, brilliant pieces in it, you know, around self-development.
So who are you listening to now? Music, podcast?
Yeah. So in the morning, my routine is I like Recode. So Recode also has podcasts. If I have a chance, I'm doing that. So in the morning when I go out and I'm doing my walk or something like that, working out either in the home or I go out for my walk, I'm listening to my book. I'm reading Recode, or I'm listening to what's going on, like what's going on within companies. It's all about, you know, how does what I do align with the work that companies are doing or what they're saying or what they're feeling, what's not going right, you know, what changes have been made, who got their hands smacked last night, right? Because they did something they had no business doing. You know, so, you know, I'm kind of, you know, I wake up to that, and that's really what my day is. It's really full of that. And then, you know, by the time my husband gets home, it's dinner time and time for us to talk about our work and enjoy that kind of conversation in our lives. And then it's time to go to sleep. And there's the day. There is.
Yes.
Now, I do like classical music, and sometimes when I'm writing, it stimulates my mind, as long as it doesn't have any words or anything, it's really good for keeping me at that level. So.
Okay. All right. Well, finally, Renee, if you weren't doing the speaker, coach, author life, which there's a lot going on there, what do you think you'd be doing professionally? And you've had a lot of choices so far.
Yeah.
What do you think you'd be doing?
What I'm doing. So let me tell you what that would look like, right? Mm-hmm. So what I do is teach. So whether that would be in a classroom, or whether that would be as an HR professional, or whether that would be at a university, in the classroom setting, I'd be doing this in some form. Maybe not as a freelance consultant, speaker, author construct, but I can still do what I do. It's funny because I was talking, someone said to me, oh, but I had a client who was saying, yeah, but you're an expert and people come to you. And I said, no, here's the thing. I'm a teacher. That's what I do. I teach, right? And fortunately, there are a lot of different platforms that I can stand on if I wasn't standing on this platform to do what I'm doing. So that's what I do.
Well, Renee, those are all of my questions, and you have survived the conversation. Yay!
Oh, wow, yay!
As if there was any doubt. I want to encourage everyone to mark your session on their calendars, mega session, defining and communicating your personal brand to increase your visibility, credibility, and career opportunities. That's Monday, June 24th, 1:30 p.m. So forego the nap and come see Renee. I'm going to put that plug in for you. But if someone is listening and they aren't able to go to the conference, or they want to follow you before, learn a little bit more about you, how can folks find you out in the world?
Sure. So two things. I am going to do a shameless plug for my conference. Right. So I'm also doing a pre-conference workshop, which is about 15 hours with me. And why this is so critically important is that for those individuals who are saying, I really want a plan, I want to walk out with a plan in my hand on how I can build my brand, that I assess my brand, build my brand, and I want a strategic plan on how I'm going to implement it. There's also, it is actually called Powerful Leaders, Transform Your Personal Brand and Executive Presence. And we're going to be talking a lot about executive presence as well and how to create that. But that's the pre-conference. If they're interested in that, I would love to have them in that. So how can they reach me now? I have a website, my name, SHRM19, S as in Sam, R as in run, ENEE.com. That's the best way. Of course, I have a number as well for those who may want to talk to me personally, 888-588-0423. And then email, srenee@srenee.com. No dots, just srenee@srenee.com. So, and my website, my contact information is on my website. So, and if you Google Renee, I bet I'll come up.
Awesome. And I will put all of that in the show notes so that when folks see this, they'll be able to find you very easily. So best way to find me, guys, find me on Twitter, Wendell93, and always join us for the HR Social Hour Twitter chat, fourth Sunday of each month. We'll want to see you there. Well, Renee, thank you so much for joining me in this conversation. It has been a pleasure. I look forward to your session and meeting you in person. I will be there for sure. Have to write a follow-up to this. Awesome. So yes, thank you so much. And for the HR Social Hour Half Hour podcast, this is Wendy saying, have a great one. We'll see you soon.